Alright, so in this video, I'm talking about the Mirepoix and what we have as Mirepoix in the Nigerian cuisine or cookery. Now, to clarify further, when I say adapting, for example, in the previous video, adapting the bouquet garni or the sachet de peas to Nigerian cuisine, I do not mean that I'm trying to create something new. I mean that I'm trying to define how it is or how it exists in the Nigerian cuisine presently already. Like, what is our own version of the Nigerian bouquet garni or sachet de peas? What is our own version of the what is our own version of the mirepoix? So that is what I'm trying to show how this exists in Nigerian cuisine already. I am not trying to define or make something new, but I'm trying to show how I might be trying to show how it exists or how it almost exists in Nigerian cuisine already. Or if I'm making any adjustment, I'm trying to like show whole information how it exists or how it is used or how we have it in this how we have it in the mirepoix or sachet the piece of bouquet garni form already. I'm not trying to create something new because I'm just showing how it how it exists in Nigerian cuisine or cookery already. Alright, so let's get right into it. So we have the mirepoix. The mirepoix is another basic aromatic preparation that is used in dishes and meals where we have, for example, stock sauces and soups are built upon to produce the to produce built upon these. So we have for the mirepoix, while the bouquet garni or sachet de peas is made up of a combination of herbs and grains as in the bouquet garni case, or spices and herbs as in the sachet de peas case. For the mirepoix, it's actually made of aromatic vegetables. Yes, so it's vegetables here, and they are cut. They can be diced into the bigger dices or the bigger cubes, or minced into smaller smaller cubes depending on what they're going to be used for. So the aromatic vegetables are used as a base preparation. They're going to add their flavor into, sometimes a lot of times color, yes, into the meal or the dish that will be built upon later. All right, so let's get into it. So for our standard formula for mirepoix, we have onions, carrot, and celery. So for standard mirepoix, the normal formula or basic formula for standard mirepoix, as we have in French cuisine, is the standardized French cuisine. Yes, so the basic formula will be 2 part onions to 1 part carrot to 1 part celery. So we have onions, carrot, and celery in the ratio 2, ratio 1, ratio 1. Now the standard mirepoix again is aromatic vegetables, right? That are used as a basic flavor of a whole lot of other dishes. There's the each of those components of the standard mirepoix have flavor notes of what they add to the mirepoix mixture. The onions form the aroma base, produce the aroma base. Carrots produce slight sweetness and some body, while the celery produces a herbal base or a herbal note in the standard mirepoix mixture. Now for white mirepoix, standard white mirepoix mixture, white mirepoix is used in for white stocks, white like light based soups or consomme and those broth stocks or sauce that would not require any coloring or any tints to color at all. Alright, so for white mirepoix, standard white mirepoix, this the white mirepoix is used as the aromatic preparation base mirepoix for white stocks, for consommes, for light sauce, for stock sauce and soups where we want a lot of clarity, where we want lightness, whiteness, where we don't want so much tint or color to it. Alright, so it's the formulation is standard formula is 1 part onion to 1 part leek to 1 part celery to 1 part parsley. Yes, so alright, so let's come down to Nigerian cuisine or cookery. So we have standard mirepoix, which we looked at earlier formulation. Now, I explained in the previous video that when it comes to Nigerian cuisine or cookery, that Mirepoix, that one of the main categories of our aromatic preparations for meals and dishes would be the base blend of onions, tomato, and tatasi. So I would say that our mirepoix can be divided into two. We have the base blend of tomato, onions, and peppers, and then we have the aromatic vegetables that can be cut and diced and then used for meal preparations also. But the base blend is the most common. So this is mirepoix. This is an interpretation of mirepoix. The base blend vegetables of aromatics of onions, tomatoes, tatasi, atarudu. Yes. So now, what is the formulation for our standard mirepoix? For standard mirepoix, we have onions, tomatoes, tatasi, and rodo. Now, remember that there are variations based on whatever meal they're going to be used for, or even personal preference. For example, for jollof rice, you might want to use onions, tatasi, rodo, maybe a little tomato. For a lot of tatasi for color. For ayamasi or for ewa green sauce, you might use a different blend. And so I will look at the standard ratio will be 1 part onions or 2 parts tomatoes to 2 parts habanero pepper or atarodo to 2 parts scotch bonnet or tatasi to 1 part onions, or 1 part onions to 1 part tatasi to 1 part tomato to 1 part rodo. Like I said, it depends really upon whatever wants to be achieved in the final dish. So this is a standard formulation for mirepoix. Yes, for Nigerian cuisine or cookery, for the base blend of onions, tomato, and rodo. And now we look at what we look at other adaptations. For example, we'll look at we want to have a white our own white mirepoix. We have adaptations for Nigerian cuisine or cookery. For standard mirepoix, for white mirepoix. Okay, so for standard mirepoix, we have would have onions, tomato, tatasi, and rodo. Yes, tomato, tatasi are the Scotch bonnet peppers, while rodo are habanero peppers. All right, so they're much in the same way as the standard mirepoix formulation. Onions provide the base aroma, carrot provide the sweetness and some body, while celery provides the herbal notes of base. In the same way here, we have onions providing the base aroma, but we have tatasi providing body and some sweetness. Tomatoes also provide some sweetness, and we have rodo providing heat, controlled heat. So here we have 1 part onions to 1 part tomatoes to 1 part tatase or to 1 part rodo. But keep in mind that there are variations depending on the meal that it's going to be used in, depending on the meal that is going to be used to cook. We use this base blend for a wide variety of dishes for jollof rice, for ayamasi, for ewa going sauce, for porridges. So the variations exist based on like or preference, and also based on the meal that's being cooked or prepared. But I'll say that this is the basic or standard formula: 1 part onions to 1 part tomatoes to 1 part tatasi to 1 part rodo. With the onions providing the base aroma, tatasi providing some sweetness and just some body and even more aroma. We have the atarodo providing heatness, and then we have the tomatoes providing sweetness and body also. Alright, so for white mirepoix, now white mirepoix would be used for like we have dishes where we don't need the color, or with that tomatoes or tatasi and the rodo. These red vegetables provide a lot of color. They provide rich color for a lot of Nigerian dishes and meals. But we can use the white mirepoix for dishes where we don't need or we don't want that color, such as for light broths like pepper soup, for white soup, black soup. We have fish broth, so for fried rice, perhaps Nigerian fried rice. This is so. And so we have the onions, garlic, ginger, and spring onions. Now, for variations, for example, for the Nigerian fried rice, we may not use garlic or ginger, and then for for pepper soup, we might want to take out the garlic. For white soup, black soup, so there are variations. But the standard formula would be 1 part onions to 1 part ginger to 1 part spring onions. All right, so let's go back to the standard base blend. So we have the onions, and we have the tomato, tetesi, and rudu. And now for I want to say the variations of the standard base blend on Mirepoix. So we have the we also have the brown one. Yeah, I've mentioned the white Mirepoix, the white vegetable mixture for lighter colored dishes. And then I'll say we have the deep roasted one there, which the brown Mirepoix, the brown Mirepoix. Yes, so I'll say okay, we have the brown Mirepoix here. So here we have the onions and the tatasero and tomato, but here they are charred just like in the brown Mirepoix preparation, where they have to be charred or roasted slightly before being used to no. But in the standard Mirepoix or the French based cooking, we also have pinçage added for the deep brown color to be achieved. But here we just need, we already have this brown, we already have tomato here, we have tatasi here, we have rodo here. But we're just going to char it or roast it like such that it has brown skins on the exterior. So we're going to char it in the oven or in a pot on top of stove top, like with only these ingredients. We're going to roast it slightly deeply. We can spread them out in the baking tray and put it in the oven for it to brown and have that charred outside appearance. Or we can also char it over the stove top now before blending. Now this gives a smoky, deep smoky aroma, and this preparation that is now used for it can be used for jollof rice, and it can be used for ewa going sauce, where we want that deep smoky flavor. So we use it for smoky jollof rice or for the deep smoky ewa going sauce. So these are the variation that I would say we have when it comes to Nigerian Mirepoix. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching.